If you don't know what your blood sugar is, you might be missing a critical number tied to your energy and your focus and your overall performance. And no, it's not just about how many carbs you eat. In this video, I'm going to break down the warning signs that your blood sugar is too high, even if your A1C looks normal, and then why those symptoms matter more than your last lab tests. I'm Dr. Adam. I'm a naturopathic doctor and a men's diabetes coach, and I help men reverse insulin resistance and optimize testosterone by addressing the root causes of these issues. That way, these guys don't have to become dependent on a handful of meds every day. So what's the deal with high blood sugar? Well, in my experience, most guys overlook the signals that I'm going to share with you today until they're dealing with debilitating symptoms like chronic fatigue and poor performance issues, or even a diabetes diagnosis. So let's change that. Let me start with a quick story. It's mine. So for me, the warning sign was my energy. So for years, most days I'd crash at 10 a.m. and need more food or more coffee. Or I'd go on a bike ride and just completely bonk halfway through the ride. And again, I'd grab more carbs to fuel me because at the time I thought I just wasn't eating enough. But it turns out that even though my A1C was technically normal, my blood sugar was spiking and crashing all the time, especially based on what I ate for breakfast. So to illustrate this important point, think of it like this. Let's say you get pulled over for going 110 miles an hour on the highway, and then you try to argue that your average speed for the day was only 45. Well, of course, that doesn't matter. You still hit a dangerous spike, and that's how blood sugar works. So a normal A1C is just an average. It doesn't show the highs and lows that can wreck your energy and mental focus and long-term health. And for me, that spike was caused by oatmeal. That wrecked me. I'd get a sugar spike, which, can be useful if you're exercising right after, but for me, it often led to a crash just 2 hours later. And then once I stopped eating a high carb breakfast and focused more on protein, my energy became dramatically more steady throughout the day. And my blood sugar levels seen on my CGM were also more steady. I got rid of that roller coaster. And the change to my overall health was night and day. That's when I realized at that point that most men are living with blood sugar dysfunction and they have no idea. So let's talk about the classic signs of high blood sugar levels, what we call the 3 Ps. Well, the first one is polyuria, which means you're urinating frequently, especially at night. Second one, polydipsia, so being constantly thirsty no matter how much you drink. And the third one is called polyphagia, or always being hungry, even after a full meal. So if you're peeing more at night, if you're carrying water with you everywhere you go, or you're raiding the fridge when you know you've just eaten, that's your body screaming for help because your blood sugar is all over the place. Don't be the guy who brushes this off and says things like, I'm just thirsty, or I must not have eaten enough, because these are early markers of blood sugar dysregulation. And they don't just go away. They get worse as the disease progresses. The other most common sign of high blood sugar is low energy and brain fog. So you might feel sharp in the morning, but then crash before lunch, or find yourself struggling to focus at work, forgetting things, or feeling like your brain is just stuck in first gear. A lot of guys I talk to say they need to nap in their truck at lunch, or they can't work on projects around the house after work. They're just exhausted physically and mentally. Well, this isn't just aging. These are often symptoms of blood sugar swings, spikes and crashes that drain your brain and your body. And most of the time, they're happening without you even realizing what's going on. That's why everybody just blames their symptoms on their age. Here's another sign of high blood sugar that catches a lot of guys off guard. It's erectile dysfunction. Most men think that ED is just a part of aging or a testosterone issue, but in reality, blood sugar may be the root cause, especially if it's been creeping up for years without being addressed. Because chronically high glucose damages small blood vessels and the nerves, especially in the penis. And that's exactly the symptoms responsible for sexual performance. So if blood flow is impaired, performance suffers as well. This doesn't usually happen overnight. It's often the result of years of blood sugar dysregulation that's gone unnoticed or unchecked. The takeaway is that if you're experiencing ED, don't just assume it's low T or it's unavoidable. So you might as well take Viagra. Like that thinking is going to make you become dependent on a medication. And hiding symptoms of the pill is a slippery slope because the root of the issue is still causing damage. It might be a warning sign that your blood sugar is out of control. And it's time to take that seriously if you still want to have sex, in 5 years from now. Another common sign is belly fat. So let's look at the root cause of weight gain. Sure, if you eat more than you burn, your body stores that as fat. But the real question is, what causes men to overeat in the first place? Because it's not just a lack of willpower, it's nuanced. So high stress, poor sleep, and yes, unstable blood sugar all drive hunger and cravings. When your blood sugar spikes and crashes, your body panics. So it literally sends hunger signals through hormones that you need more food, that the body needs more energy. So if you're noticing stubborn belly fat, especially if it won't budge despite dieting, it could be a sign that your glucose is swinging more than you realize. I've worked with guys who said, I'm doing everything right, I'm moving more, I'm eating less, why am I still gaining weight? And then we put a CGM on them, as a continuous glucose monitor, and they find that their glucose was all over the place. So even with so-called healthy foods, that's why I coach men to track their patterns, not just their food. All right, if any of this sounded familiar, constant thirst, fatigue, belly fat, mood swings, brain fog, ED, don't ignore it. Get some blood work, order a metabolic panel, wear a CGM to see a more nuanced picture, and take back control of your energy. If this helped, hit subscribe. I share real strategies each week to help men get long-term results. So no band-aids here.